Good morning. It's Monday, the 23rd of July. I'm Michael Rowland.
And I'm Beverly O'Connor. The top story on ABC News Breakfast: President Obama is on his way to Aurora, Colorado, to pay his respects to the victims of Friday's cinema mass shooting. A girl of 6 was among 12 people killed and 50 injured when a gunman opened fire during the new Batman film. 24-year-old James Holmes is expected to appear in court later today.
Police say he spent months planning the attack and had booby-trapped his flat with explosives. Colorado's governor says his state is still coming to terms with the shooting.
The state is heartbroken. I think it was Hemingway that said, "The world breaks us all, but afterward, we're stronger in the broken places." And I think that's what we heard in the hospitals yesterday. We went to as many of the hospitals and visited families and the victims, and there was a buoyancy that's already a resiliency where people were not going to let this, define their life. They're going to fight back.
Well, our North America correspondent Jane Cowan joins us now from Denver. And Jane, President Obama due to touch down in over an hour or so. What's he going to be doing on his visit?
Well, Bev, he is visiting. It's designed, though, to be a fairly low-key visit. He's going to be on the ground for only 2.5 hours. He won't be attending a public vigil, a prayer vigil planned here for tonight. He will be meeting privately with families who've lost loved ones in this shooting, and he will be meeting with local leaders. Really, he is following in the footsteps of so many other presidents now who've had to respond to these shootings that have unfortunately become such a part of American life. Remember, George W. Bush went to Virginia Tech, and Bill Clinton visited Columbine after that shooting. And psychologists, Beverly, are saying that this kind of thing, having the leader in the role of consoler-in-chief, actually can help. It allows the president to kind of put his arms around the nation as it grieves, and they're saying that that can actually do some good because the office of the president kind of transcends the trauma, and that's obviously what Barack Obama is hoping to achieve, kind of to buoy the community just by being here.
I'm sure the community also want to know why. What was the motivation behind this young man? Is any more emerging as to what his motivation was?
Beverly, still not a lot is known about this accused shooter. He is being held in jail here apart from other prisoners because of the high-profile nature of this case. He is said not to be cooperating with investigators now after not resisting the original arrest. Police are saying that they have managed now to retrieve a computer from his apartment now that they've been able to get into it since it was disarmed of all those explosives, and they are hoping that that computer might be able to shed some light on motive and also how he learned to booby-trap his apartment in such a sophisticated fashion. But still at this stage, you'd have to say there are many, many more questions than answers about how this fellow, who was originally a high-achieving student who graduated in honours in California and was pursuing a doctorate in neuroscience, how he then came to be someone accused of building bombs in his apartment and killing 12 people in this dark movie theatre. Neighbours, Beverly, are telling stories of someone who very much kept to himself. They say sometimes they saw a strange purple light from his apartment. Sometimes neighbours saw his windows covered with newspaper. But they're saying that, there was really no sign that they could tell that this was going to happen. He is being described as someone who was as, vanilla as a glass of water, someone who made virtually no impression on the people that met him. He was, interestingly, by one account, pursuing a subject before he dropped out that went to the genetic origins of mental illness. But really, this all remains still very much a mystery.
Jane, when you look back at the history of these kinds of massacres, these tragedies, so many are in the United States. Does at any point the gun debate move any further? Do the community look at this issue as a real significant way of trying to lessen these kinds of incidents?
Look, this is the thing, isn't it? I mean, always after these shootings there are calls for tighter gun control, but gun rights in this country are enshrined in the Constitution, and there is the powerful gun lobby that really strongly resists any attempt to wind back those rights. So the usual calls are being heard now. It is reactivating that whole gun debate, but it is also activating a debate about mental illness too, because you do have the suggestion that the suspect said to police when he was arrested that he was the Joker, that he dyed his hair orange. And so there is some discussion about how society can better recognise people who might be going off the rails. There's also a suggestion his grades had gone downhill rapidly in the year leading up to the attack. So it's the gun debate, but it's also mental illness.
Jane Cowan in Denver, thank you so much for your time.